Welcome. Just give me 1 minute. One of those days today when nothing's going right. Let's see if we make a mess of this now. Well, I suppose we usually do, don't we? Right, so I'm the shadow in the corner because you don't want to see me. We're indoors because it's all a bit damp out there. I have to say, had some rain at long last. Now, if you've tuned in to watch the film, jump forward 20 minutes and it'll be waiting for you there. The rest of us are going to enjoy all the comments from matters arising, and it's the matters arising from the last two films. And I have to say it's very hard doing this because I can't include everything in every comment for obvious reasons. We'd be here all day, but trying to decide what to cut out and what to leave in, nightmare, absolute nightmare. But anyway, I've done the best I can, folks, and I hope I don't upset anybody. Right, now then, first off then, and we're looking at the junction where the Nailsworth branch line, Nailsworth Stroud, Gloucestershire, where the Nailsworth branch line joined the main line, looking to see what was left, and there was stuff left, I have to say. Right, now Richard Ashchurch comments, the goods yard area remained in use as a coal concentration depot well into the 1980s and was served by rail using the disused lines seen beneath the footbridge. Ah, right, yes. Now, a lot of people were puzzled by what those lines were doing there, and there you are, you have a definitive answer, though we'll read some of the others and see where we get. And Richard goes on to say, I noticed the entire area is being built on when I passed on the train recently. Houses again. Just can't work out. You walk around Gloucestershire, everywhere is putting up housing estates, and yet apparently we haven't got enough. So somebody's not building somewhere. Well, we'll see, I suppose. Right, abandoned railways, Ron, up in the Cotswolds. Another good round of comments from the Parkinsons Walks family. Yeah, we do enjoy the comments, don't we? Brilliant. An excellent explore around another abandoned railway at Nailsworth. Yeah, good. Caroline Cleveley. Hi Ron, my father was photographed at Stonehouse branch platform with the last train to Nailsworth. Well, I'm blown. That's fame, isn't it? I actually had a photograph somewhere of a gentleman standing on a platform. I'll have a dig. David Blaney. All the way from sunny Spain. I was quite surprised to see the rail still in situ, he said. Yep. There's another one. I wonder why they weren't taken up. Well, you've got the answer at the top there, David, from Richard. The footbridge really needs a lick of paint before the rust really takes hold. It still looks very solid though, all riveted together. Yeah. The station master's house was right on the tracks. It didn't look like a station building, but I kind of think the station master lived just a little bit further away, question mark. Well, in the notes that I've read, David, it does say that is the station master's house. So who knows? If somebody does know that, let us know. We can be sure. Would you believe that this morning is quite chilly? Yeah, David's been suffering 30-degree heat down there in Spain for a while, and now it wakes up and it's chilly. Can't we? Can you? Thankfully, the haze is cleared, but no rain down here. But there has been storms in the north. Back to work on Monday. Oh dear, David and his good lady have been touring. Oh dear. Malcolm says it makes you wonder why that track under the bridge remains in situ. Well, yeah, Richard, you've done us proud there. You answered that. Jim Nichols, all the way from New Zealand. Morning, Jim. Or is it afternoon? Of course, Jim's heading into summer. But we're going the other way. Yeah, good old Jim. You said some good detective work there, Ron. I guess you were wearing your Sherlock Holmes deerstalker. Wouldn't be seen without it, Jim. Somerset man walking. Darren. Finding the old branch lines in place was an added bonus. That the footbridge looked a little bit dodgy, yeah. What a fabulous station master's house. They always seem so grand. Even the one my father was born in on the old WVLR is a grand structure. Great stuff. Oh yeah. And Darren is fighting some personal issues at the moment, and he's doing well. Hang in there, Darren. Mr. James Weeks, our schoolmaster, school teacher, school something or other, all the way from Toronto in Canada. I'm working on setting up my classroom, and then I'm booked, he says, to take you know who, you know whating. You see, we don't just get comments here, we get quizzes as well. So, for those of you scratching your head wondering what on earth he's on about, it means taking sumac swimming, in case you hadn't figured that out. Pauline's garden looks very inviting. Pauline's garden? What? Where do I come in this picture? I just do the work. So for some reason I'm craving an apple. Ah yes, you can't see the apple tree today, so there you go. James signs off in typical James fashion. Have a good week. I may not. James. What do you like, James? Love it. Love it. West Country Wanderings. Paul. Morning, he says. Always good to see industrial heritage repurposed rather than knocked down. Yep. I can report that the footbridge that you showed in your film has now been completely restored. Well, I'm blowed. Ah, which I didn't know about that. Perhaps I could have added a bit on. Well, I'm blowed. Although, as Richard comments, says Paul, housing has now gone in where Vic's coal yard used to be until 1989. Oh dear. This will also now mean that it's unlikely that the former Midland railway station would ever reopen here. Yes, as with lots of disused stations, there's talk about reopening them all the time. But it sounds now as if that is going to be built over, so that's the end of that. Oh dear. Oh well, that's the way it goes. So that's the branch line. Now then, the film last week, which was the Frampton Manell viaduct, you might recall, and quite a few people wanted to get in on that one. Malcolm Richardson said, "A marvellous reward for a splendid walk." Yeah, nearly killed me, but it was a marvellous reward, you're right. The massive amount of brickwork and magnificent arches make you realise the amount of heavy engineering and human labour that was required to build the railway between Stroud and Kemble. And then there's a tunnel farther up the line. Yeah, that must have been a very expensive line. They must have really wanted to build it, I would have thought. So spend that amount of money on it. Yeah. There's some more interesting information on that viaduct a little bit farther on. Stay with us. West Country Wanderings. Paul again. This time on the Frampton Manell film. That's a great coffee shop at the start. I had to film that for Marilyn because she's our cafe expert, as you probably well know. And so I had to film that one for Marilyn. It's the lavender coffee shop apparently, and of course Marilyn's been in there. Well done, blow. Well done, Marilyn. Right, so our Paul goes on to say, "I've never been up close to this viaduct, but I must have travelled over it a number of times on the train. Such a vital transport artery for the Stroud valleys." Yeah, of course, if you're on the train, you're not going to see it, are you? Because you're on it. Yeah. Jim, again from New Zealand. "I hope you didn't overdo the walking," he said, "but as you said, it was a good find at the end, and the scenery on the way was beautiful." Well done. Well, there wasn't much left in the tank when I got back to the car, I'll admit that. Yeah. Well done, Jim. But we got there, Jim, we got there. 757, Trev. Now, here's another advantage of being in here, of course. Trev can't get to us with his noisy aeroplanes, can he? Got your beat there, Trev. Right. Trev says, and he's a great walker, is our Trev. "I have several planned walks around that area which have been on the back burner for some time. I really must get down there," he says. "I've done all the planning and I need to see if any of them take in the viaduct. If not, I'll modify one to do so." Well done. And then Trev goes on to say, "The viaduct is of course on the branch that leaves Swindon service stations at Kemble, Stroud and Stonehouse, where it joins the main line. And then Trev goes on then to describe all the goings and comings and all the detail. It's brilliant stuff. Yeah, you must go and read Trev's whole comment. It's worth a read, it really is. And he closes by saying, well, that's about it for this week, Ron. Apart from mentioning that I volunteer for the... No good, Trevor, can't read it. You'll have to type a bit clearer, mate. I'm not sure, he said, if I've mentioned it before. The Pontypool and Malvern Railway. As always, best wishes, he says. Thanks, Trev. Charles Patterson from USA in New Jersey. Morning, Charles. Is it morning? Afternoon? It'll do. Stunning is a good choice of word, he says. Incredible structure. I do have to say I wouldn't be too keen on travelling downwards on that inclined road in your outro during icy winter. Can you imagine? You get a sledge going on there, crikey, you get up to 90 miles an hour by the time you got to the bottom, I would think. Amazing. I would say it's a hazard even on a sledge, he said, but you would gain an impressive speed, wouldn't you just? Right. Well, Pete Payne. Morning, Ronnie says. That was worth a look. Some amazing structures. They look to be so well made. My favourite viaduct is a Teffrey Aqua viaduct in the Luxurian Valley in Cornwall. Yeah, I've filmed that and I'm going to dig it out for the next, after the next vlog. So in a couple of weeks time I'll dig that one out, Pete. Yeah. Well worth a look, he said, if anybody's down that way, and I would agree with that. And you watch the film and you'll probably agree with it as well. Marilyn, did our Marilyn come through? I hope you and everyone on the worldwide family are okay. Yeah, we're doing well. Thank you for showing the Lavender Cafe. More memories, she says. They bake the most delicious scones there, so I hope you took some home for Pauline. Now, if I start being kind to Pauline, she's going to wonder what I'm up to, Marilyn, so no, I didn't do that. We saw a rare water rail. That's a bird on the canal there. Once. Oh, a rare water rail. I never heard of it. Well, I'm blown. Ah. Lovely shots of the viaduct and also that wonderful skew bridge. Who doesn't love a skew bridge, she says. Well, I certainly love them. I went to Stratford train spotting today and everyone was very helpful getting on and off the trains. Yes, Marilyn's now got a wheelie. So she goes causing havoc with that everywhere. But, people have been very helpful getting her on and off trains and round and about. Well done, that's lovely to hear, isn't it? I saw several of the new Avanti Evro trains and also a Class 86, which makes a very distinctive noise. She knows her trains as well, does Marilyn, I have to say. I did 2,709 steps a day, which is quite a lot for an elder sister. Virtual elder sister in the virtual Parkinsons walks family. No, well done. I came back, bent right over, she said, and gasping for a cup of tea. Sounds like you've overstretched that, Marilyn. See, I might go out on Tuesday if the weather's okay. I haven't been to Buxton for a while, and the scenery is amazing on that route, and they still have proper signals. Happy travelling by for now. She's amazing, is Marilyn. I mean, she's got all sorts of issues. She's not the youngest person on the patch, yet she's out about and not giving in. Well done. Michael from Poland. Got him, Michael. You missed one Friday, Michael. You know, you were wandering around all day thinking there's something I should be doing. Well, it was commenting on our film, Michael. I'm pretty sure you missed one. Perhaps it was me. Wouldn't doubt it. He said, what a wonderful structure that viaduct is. Well worth the walk beside the river Froome and the canal. Very picturesque. I hope the walk wasn't too strenuous for you. It was borderline, Michael, for sure. Abandoned railways are wrong. Lovely exploring the countryside, he said. And then to see that magnificent viaduct looking resplendent in the sunshine. A quick bit of research suggests the spans were originally made of wood, being encased in brick when they started to deteriorate. And Ron hopes he can get out to do a bit of exploring. He puts out quite a few films, does Ron, and they're worth a watch, I can assure you. There's so much information, brilliant. But yes, that's a surprise. So those arches started off being wood and then were encased in brick. Does that mean that the wood is still inside the arches? No, never. Interesting. Engage on a shelf. Simon, who's just he's just starting to build up. I'll get this going. I told you it was going wrong. Simon, who's just starting the last 8 feet of his construction of an N-gauge railway system up in his loft. And you know Simon, he's a brilliant guy, very nice, very friendly, and tells it like it is, I have to say. And he's done a marvellous job of his layout. You want to go and have a look. Any interest in trains, go and have a look. He said, I remember the first time I saw that viaduct. I was out on the van as telecom engineer, and I must have been only 17. It's quite breathtaking the first time you stand there, and he added a tailpiece, especially if you're a shorty like me. Somerset man walking, Darren. Ah, yes. Apologies for not showing up on Friday morning. I've quite a lot going on in my life this week. Yeah. I wonder if Darren would want me to say borderline alcoholic. And so he's identified he has a problem and now he's working to solve it. And he'll get there. He'll get there. We're all behind you, Darren. There's quite a walk for you on this one, but what a fantastic viaduct to greet you at the end. Well worth it. And you didn't have to tackle any undergrowth either. Yes, Darren's been wearing shorts of course all summer, as have most of us. But if you're going exploring disused railway with shorts on, you're going to have trouble with the nettles, I'm afraid, and the brambles, come to that. Lionel and Mary Travels. Our Lionel. Lionel's put some nice films up too just lately. Enjoyed those, Lionel. He says, you really do live in a beautiful part of the country. Yeah, we'd admit that. That old viaduct was in marvellous condition. It must have contained tens of thousands of bricks, each laid one at a time, wouldn't it? One brick at a time in that huge structure. He said, what a great craftsmanship to build it. No one's going to argue with that, Lionel. Donny, nice one, he says. Impressive structure indeed. I've been informed in the past that inverted arches are used over soft or unstable ground. Some great examples can be seen at Swindon Works under the windows in one of the main buildings. Yeah, you know when you get the supporting wall for the viaduct and then they've got those curious holes in it. Always wondered what they were for. And Donnie says it's for use over soft or unstable ground. It's good explanations anyhow, I guess. Yeah. But, so all off to Swindon. Right, now this was the last one, but it's not anymore. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a hard restart. Yeah. Did we win? Don't know, we'll find out later. Probably not. David from Spain. David's put some films up just lately of walks around the Monochill area where he lives in Spain. And talk about rugged, my gosh, and the paths. They'd be fenced off over here, I imagine. But David copes with them, so yeah, worth looking at. The only problem is David's encouraging Trev by looking around saying you could wild camp out here. And as we know, Trev is a wild camping addict. So you're going to end up with Trev as a neighbour, I reckon, if you're not careful, David. Right. The good thing about canals, he says, they're flat. I'm guessing that you couldn't continue on it nearer the viaduct. I thought the viaduct was going to be better seen from the road. As it turns out, apparently it would have been better to stay on the towpath. But yeah, you could have got to the towpath somewhere, I'm certain, from there. Right, from what I recall, this is an active line, he says, but it sounded quiet. no trains passing through on this visit, question mark. Well, there were, but I was too slow to get them. The problem with being down the bottom of the viaduct and everything being up in the air is that you don't get much warning. So the first thing you know about a train going past is that they're over the top of the viaduct, and by the time you've got your camera out, they've gone a long, long way away. So now that explains it, David. I wasn't quick enough. He says the underpass was really very steep, but it also seemed very high. We were worried about people on stilts. The masonry was a marvel, but it was then surpassed by the skewed brick arch. Yeah, brilliant. It says the builders must have been really proud of that one. I suspect they were. There must be a name for those gaps in the viaduct. Yeah, we've just had that conversation. If it was steel, it would be to lighten the structure. Well, whatever their purpose, they're certainly very attractive, and we have a special comment coming up on that just in a moment. From what I can see on the Barbican Viaduct, the word is hollow piers. Ah, right, we call them hollow piers. Despite its length, height and weight bearing requirements, the builders were able to hollow out the piers between the arches without sacrificing their strength. It saved them tons of bricks with an added bonus of design. Yeah, tons and tons and tons of bricks. Yeah, so it was either to lighten the structure because of ground conditions, or it was just to save on bricks. One of those or the other. Right, now that was the end of the vlogs until I got this morning from Michael John Cooper, and I thought it worth including. He says, I live in Frampton Manell, so I know how steep that road is to the viaduct. Ah, so we have a resident here then, hopefully giving us the information. And the line from Swindon to Cheltenham, which this viaduct is part of, was overseen by Brunel. Ah, got in on that one. The viaduct was originally wood, but replaced in the late 19th century, I believe. So there you are, as Ron said earlier on, it was actually a wooden structure initially, and then they built around it. Blimey, that was a fair job. The holes in the first two columns were there because the then resident of the new manor house, which is at the end of your film, objected to having the viaduct built right outside their house. I bet they did. The colonel wouldn't have been happy with that, would he? Oh dear. So this step was an attempt to placate them. And did it? I wonder. Well, the building went ahead, so hopefully it did. Lovely. And Michael finishes by saying, the train crews on this line tell me that the section over the viaduct is their favourite part of the whole line, as the views are lovely. Yeah, they get the first class view, don't they, really? Right, now, archive coming up in just a few seconds. We're still on the Nailsworth branch line, but this time we're going to Stroud to have a look at an offshoot there. So I'm taking myself out of picture here, aren't I? Yeah, so we'll do that, and then next week is another archive, but I'm playing this one for a reason that Paul, West Country Wanderings, Darren, Somerset Man Walking, have been trying to locate the northern portal of the Mirrorstock Tunnel, and they found it totally inaccessible, whereas I've actually filmed it some while ago when it was still just about accessible, and I mean just about accessible. So we'll show that, and then maybe please Paul and Darren, having actually seen the northern entrance even after all their efforts, and they actually said some very kind things about me on their latest film. They did a collab, which they both went out together filming, and they said some very nice things about me, which made me a little bit humble. So on that note, I'll leave you. I'll see you on the archive in just a sec. Don't be late. Well, just to tidy up on this branch line that we've been following from Nailsworth through to Stonehouse, there was a connection to Stroud through there. See what we can find. Start here then. As you can see, there's a great big void out there. This was a huge embankment. To access the railway now we have to go those steps. There used to be a road bridge here, We peer into the undergrowth. You can just make out the abutment regaining the track bed and heading off towards Stroud. We immediately come to that which is the Dudbridge Hill Road. As you can see, it's had some remedial work on it. Parapet's been redone to a concrete liner. At least they kept it in blue brick. Didn't do the whole thing in concrete, which is amazing. Graffitiists here aren't up to the usual standard. The track here has a persistent right turn on it as it goes around the base of the Minchinhampton and Dudbridge Hills, outcrop, whatever. A line side construction here. No notes as to what it might be. I mean, it looks for all the world like a greenhouse. That's quite a substantial bit of roofing there for a greenhouse. Don't know, no notes. In a sort of cutting, we're just coming up to where the coal was tipped for the gasworks. There's a flattened area there off to the left. You would probably guess that was their siding. This is still quite enclosed here. The land rises on the right and severely falls away on the left. Next, the area of the rails opens out, as you can see. More sidings, I'm guessing, because there's that track side. We're told that's a capstan, or part of a capstan. Can't immediately see how it works from here because it looks to be one solid lump. But capstan it was. A little farther on, and there's a thinner one. Just there. And then farther on again, there's another one of these, this time laying on its side. And if you look carefully down there, I think you can see the whole thing turned on a spindle. 100 metres probably separates the two main capstans at either end, and then in the middle you have that, which is reckoned to be the main control area. So I suppose the cable's wound around here, driven by hydraulics apparently, hydraulics. They had some means here of tipping the trucks so that the coal then went straight down the slope, probably in chutes, straight to the gasworks. Some old stay boats here. Looks like it might have had some wooden sill or something bolted on it. Yeah, there you are. Stroud history. Lurking in the undergrowth. So that was the freight. We'll carry on now along the track bed on the passenger route, heading for Midland Railway, Stroud Station. Track widening out again. Some sort of siding perhaps, marshalling yard. Or it could be a private siding, I guess. Huge great mature trees grown up here in the well, it's 70 odd years since this one closed. Closed in 1949. I'm thinking that's some sort of private estate on our left because it's got those kind of estate fences. Difficult to make out, isn't it, amongst the foliage? But those type of fences are common throughout Gloucestershire, I think. Somebody made a fortune making those. Ah, beautiful track, isn't it? Lovely track bed, lovely surroundings. Shortcut into Stroud. Even better if you've got a bike. New housing estate creeping in as always. Better look at the fence there. That's next, which is the bridge carrying the A46 again. Nice detailed panels. Lovely skew on the bridge. Very similar to the one on the Nailsworth line, or part of the line, except the Nailsworth one was in better condition. They stopped using that. Curious. A substantial abutment, all calculated to withstand stresses and strains. No, they still haven't got their graffiti together, have they? Here's the next bridge, sliding out the undergrowth. This one carries the road up to Rodborough Common. I imagine they were very proud of that. What a wonderful brickwork, all stepped down. Lovely abutments, all in line. It's not until you have a go at doing brickwork yourself that you perhaps realise how difficult that is to achieve. That's just wonderful. Then look at this beautiful arch set in this abutment. Leaning back to take the strain. Beautiful. It stood for 100 years, and I think it looks like it's got another 100 years in it without any bother. Meanwhile we continue. We're nearly in Stroud now, very close, into a large cutting. This is the point at which the cutting ends, and it transitioned over to an embankment to carry the line round and into Stroud. This is where it gets tricky. It connects a little bit farther on into a viaduct. See what we can find. There's the River Frome, which you might remember as a reference, and in the background you just make out an arch. The part you're looking at there is where the track bed has been bricked off. So that's the start of the viaduct. Carrying the line into the station. There you can see where the viaduct ended, better shot, and was joined on an embankment across here to there. That's where we've just come from. We can do a sweep here, heading from the station. Disappears over there somewhere. A careful look at the map shows that the Stroud station is there, which is between the stream, the brook and the canal, and directly opposite the Great Western station. So that pins its location down pretty tight. This is Stroud Station in 1962. It had already been closed to passenger traffic for quite a number of years at this point. And this was it a few years later in 1966, the year of the closure of the entire line. Well, just to say we've done it, here's the other end of the viaduct. Not very exciting, not very visible, that's it. Here's the canal. So the railway station was between these two, somewhere. It's got to have been somewhere about there on a rather tall embankment. But on the other side of the canal is that rather fine blue brick structure. Railway origin. Some sort of siding or link to GWR, I imagine. And from on top. By the side of the canal is another blue brick railway wall. So what you're looking at there then, I reckon, is Stroud Station. Midland Railway. That's the GWR one then. That's still going. Arch is on the left somewhere. Just in case there's any doubt. Well, I reckon that's about as good as we're going to do on that, to be honest. We've got a GWR station if we haven't got the Midland Railway one. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for spending the time. Please don't forget to click subscribe and the bell to get notifications, or click like or share. And I hope you all join me on the next one.